Hey guys, this is your league commissioner. In this video, I'll talk about the state of the league after the first 2 weeks of the season. At the top of the standings, we have 4 undefeated teams. For now, Blunt Hunt holds the tiebreaker for first place. Despite only scoring 77 points this week, Kyle has the most points of all the 2-0 teams, but not the most points overall. Kyle also has by far the fewest points scored against him, 29 points less than Joey, who has the second least points against. Next is the Tecate Hammer Games, just 1 point behind Kyle. In my opinion, Ben's team deserves to be in first place. Maybe Will put him at the top of the power rankings. And hopefully Jordy Nelson doesn't miss too much time. It would really suck if your first round pick was out for, say, 2 to 3 months. Like Will's. That was the joke there. Right behind Ben is his Manqueef, with the 5th most points overall. This one to me is surprising. You don't usually see such consistency or competency from Joey, but he scored 90.5 points in Week 1 and 91.5 points in Week 2. To put that in perspective, the average score so far has been a mere 81 points. Compare that to an average of 91 points in previous seasons. This is because there were some really low scores in Week 1. The average of the winning scores this season is 94 points, and the average of the losing scores is 68 points. So even though no one has done well against him, I'd say that Joey has earned his 2 victories. Robin Diggs' Fantasy Factory is the 4th team tied for first place. Magic Mike has somehow managed to scrape together 2 very close wins, scoring just 13 more points than his opponent's total for the 2 weeks. And the one against Luke was really a lot closer than the final score. Mike didn't pull ahead until the second half of the Monday night game, and after that, Minnesota's defense lost a few more points, which gave Mike an even bigger lead. And tied for last place, we have 4 teams that are winless: Nick, Luke, Curtis, and Kyle Besa. The good news for the rest of the league is that the matchups in Week 3 are Nick versus Kyle Besa and Curtis versus Luke. So we're guaranteed to have 2 0-3 teams. Also, in Week 3, none of the undefeated teams will play against each other. So it's possible that there are no more undefeated teams after this week, and that there could be an 8-way tie for first place. Instead of my usual summaries and charts, this year I want to start making up new metrics that use data to tell a story. For example, the best performer so far of 2017 has been Kareem Hunt, without a doubt. He has 62.5 points. Kyle's team has a total of 190 points through the first 2 weeks, and which means that Hunt is responsible for 33% of Kyle's total. That got me thinking, how much should a fantasy team rely on a single player? So I found the highest scoring player on each of our teams, and I computed the percentage of their total score. 3 teams have 1 player scoring 30% or more of their points. Kyle with Hunt, Curtis with Tom Brady, and Nick with Ty Montgomery. Now, you can choose to think of this as the stud factor, or the thank God I drafted that guy factor, but I prefer to think of it as the lack of depth factor. So let's look at the other end of the spectrum. Devontae Freeman and Dak Prescott are each responsible for 15% of my team's total. Adam with Ben Roethlisberger, Timmy with Mike Gillislee, Joey with Crabtree, and Mike with Fournette all come in at 18% of their team's total points. And everyone else is somewhere between 20 and 30%. So if you have any ideas for something that you would like computed, let me know. You don't have to give me a lot of detail. Just say something like, I want a metric that shows the weakest position of each team, and I'll figure something out. Next week, I'm thinking of looking at points by your draft round pick. Anyways, moving on to love-hate. I don't know how many of you read Matthew Berry's love-hate column. Sometimes it's interesting, sometimes I skip it. But I at least check out the list of players that he loves and hates for the week. Then I played Dak Prescott anyway. I went through the first 2 weeks and looked at which of our fantasy teams he loves and which he hates. In Week 1, he was head over heels with Curtis's team. 6 players made the love list: Adrian Peterson, Larry Fitzgerald, Martavis Bryant, Zach Ertz, Ted Ginn, and Aaron Rodgers. And also in Week 1, he absolutely hated Joey's team. 5 players made the hate list: Matt Stafford, Mark Ingram, Allen Robinson, Martellus Bennett, and Jeremy Hill. And we all know how that worked out. As in, Joey won and Curtis lost. Matthew Berry also really liked Will's team. Over the first 2 weeks, 5 separate players have made the love list a total of 6 times. Adam Thielen has made it twice, but Will has never played him. And none of Will's players have ever made the hate list. The most hated team in week 2 was Kyle Besa, with Frank Gore, Amir Abdullah, and Des Bryant. Alright, I hope you liked the video. Let me know what you liked or didn't like, and what you want to see in the future. Good luck in week 3.